Hi guys, welcome to the very first episode of Ripping It Up with Jamie. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is probably, I don't know, probably on about take 24 now as to me getting this right. And to be honest, I just need to go with it now. I do apologise. It's my first episode. If I miss something or completely mess something up. But anyway, I'm so excited that I'm here to discuss Vivian Kay Quintero's very first movie release, Tristesse, which I've been waiting for this lady to release her first film for ages now, and now we're here, and it's going to be premiering today, this evening, on Quality Violence Cinema, and I'll try and leave a link to something in the description. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to or not, but I will do my absolute best. But if you haven't already got yourself a copy of this film, then if you're into anything underground, disturbing, art house, anything, it's just a must, really, if you're a collector of such things. I love it. Released by Embryo House, which sporting the t-shirt, and if I must say, made by band in Britain, the lovely Chrissy. I will definitely leave a link to that in the description. I want to say a big thank you to everybody that's so far that's subscribed to this channel and showing support for me. I'm extremely nervous, but also people that supported me, I love you all. Thank you very, very much. And also the lovely Pete Lankston of Hush Hush Media, who has done all the editing for this episode and for all my videos and artwork and everything. He's absolutely amazing, and I want to give him a special mention. I wouldn't be able to put out anything like what I do without him. So thank you, Pete. And also the lovely Vivian, who I'm about to have a wonderful conversation with. And I will leave, if I've forgotten anything, I probably have, but I'll leave you with my review and discussion interview with the lovely Vivian Kay Quintero. Welcome, Vivian, to Ripping It Up with Jamie. Been really looking forward to this premiere of long-awaited Tristesse, your first film. So I want to kind of start with like our first interaction about your work, you know, because it really, it's been a whole process, a whole journey for you, hasn't it, really? And I remember the first kind of idea of your work I had was with Sailor Winters, and that was the first piece of work of yours that I did see, and it's kind of set the tone, really. You've got a signature style. Going right back, what's inspired you anyway to kind of, I know you're a horror buff, but what's your inspiration to becoming like a filmmaker yourself? And
I think it was just primarily growing up with film, and it wasn't like inspired by my parents or anything like that. It was just primarily growing up and discovering horror for the first time when I was very young, and just spanned from there. Just being kind of, truthfully, being inspired by people that are around me that are making films now. I never really thought it would happen. Then, you know, doing stuff with Sam Hill, with associate producing a number of his films, and then just getting to little opportunities here and there to be able to do certain things for Stephen Biro and Unearthed. And so I really think that it's just the pure love and desire for film. You know, it's just, I didn't think I was going to do it, and then it happened.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I was actually going to say, Vivian, before you even mentioned it, Stephen Biro and Sam Hell, I know that, you know, they're two filmmakers that you do hold quite dear, you know, and you're quite big supporters of, with Aber House and Unearthed. I mean, also, I mean, you've got kind of a talent hiding there with music as well, haven't you? I mean, we would have heard at the beginning of this episode that you actually wrote and played the opening and is it the closing theme? It is the closing theme, isn't it? And I was surprised when I was like, oh my days, it's you playing the guitar. I thought you were a drummer.
I can do a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, so but yeah. Well, still creative nonetheless, though. You know, but I know you said to me you're a bit of a social media late bloomer, as you say. I could say that for myself as well. I've not really, and I think probably same as you probably. I mean, not long before we met, I'd not long joined Facebook, to be honest. And you were able to then share with the world some of your work and like I said, your signature style. That was what I actually find so brilliant about your films is the fact that there is a unique style to it. And I find it quite haunting, really. And the style of sound that you use as well, you know, your soundtrack and everything. It did take me quite a while to get used to be honest. I mean, I remember when I first listened to Sailor Winters, I had to turn the volume right down because some of it got like a little bit a bit intense. But right, can you elaborate a little bit on where that kind of style originates from, or you know how you found that style of filmmaking?
Really and truly, it all stems from just the pure love of music. Years and years ago, I used to run my own DIY record label that was strictly designed for ambient and noise and power electronics and soundscape and so many other different genres of experimental music. That has stayed with me for decades. And I think it's very essential for film to be impactful. It is essential for the soundtrack to also help drive that vision of what the filmmaker is doing. How I handle things is like Daniel of White E Gardenia has done all of the music for everything I've done so far, except for the closing credits for my upcoming film, and then also I did a short for a German company that's coming out sometime, I believe, this year, and I did the soundtrack for that. But it's just it comes from the love of music, you know, and trying to convey something with multiple artists working together and still having a freedom for them to do what they want to do. You know, I don't want to tell Daniel, hey, I want this sound in this way and this way, and I don't want that. I wanted his emotion to be driven purely by what he's watching when he's making the music for the film. And I think that's more organic. I think it gives him the opportunity to be more open with being creative and artistic. So really, truly, it comes from, I would guess, a multiple limbed tree of love for music and film and art.
Yeah.
You know, art goes involved with music. I mean, there's some musicians out there that are absolute amazing artists. I just really would like to, you know, and hope to be able to achieve that mood. You know, achieve that emotional drive behind what the film is. Because again, you can watch my film without the music and not have the same emotional impact.
Absolutely.
And then you watch with the music, and then now you have a different emotional impact from what you're watching. Because now you have something to not only entice the imagination, but also what you're seeing.
Well, picking up on something that you said a few minutes ago about White E Gardenia being able to have the freedom to put like his emotion into what he's feeling when he's watching your film. Bang on there, absolutely bang on, Viv, because I actually had something to ask you about that. And one thing that I love about your style and the fact that, you know, it's a pleasure to actually interview you, really, because I don't feel that your stuff is pretentious in any way whatsoever. And you have said...
Well, you're wrong. It's totally pretentious.
Oh, yeah, well, I was lying. but no, I was saying...
I'm sure somebody's going to say that it's pretentious. She takes herself far too seriously.
Well, you're a diva, but what, you know, it was, what is it, when you said, oh, I'm not going to tell Daniel, I want it this way and I want it that way. I'm thinking, yes, Vivian, you are, don't lie. But anyway, picking up on that, I remember you saying that your films, mean to each individual what they want to take from it and what it means to them. It's not a matter of people being criticised for oh you don't get it, you don't get the meaning. That's not what she means by that. Or, you know, it's completely whatever that viewer wants to take from your work, that is the right answer. There's no right or wrong answer to watching a Vivian Kay Quintero film. It's a bit like whatever you take from it, if it hits you in a place that you take some of that with you and it leaves you with that, whatever feeling it leaves you with, brilliant. Your work's, it's a success. You know, it's not about criticising people for not getting it. I mean, that's the only thing that puts me off with some arty films and everything, because I just sometimes get a little bit, you know, feeling like I don't know. Well, I said to you, didn't I, that sometimes I feel like I don't know enough to comment, and you feel like people are going to go, oh, well, you know, who are you to comment? You don't know anything. Whereas I don't get that from your stuff, Viv, or ever from being a fan of yours. It's just, you know, whatever you feel, it's okay. Can I also mention as well, I wanted to bring it to this, is obviously last year was a huge year for you with your transition and everything. And
sure was.
Oh, absolutely. And I was privileged to be part of your journey, you know, for so much of it anyway, and to see the struggles that you've had and also your achievements and that. But something like this, it's a massive achievement for the trans community as well. I just think, you know, and and bringing in like you're a fan of the work of Scott Philip Jurgens, with 29 Needles, and I was just absolutely shocked that the main character was trans. I honest to God, I thought no, but it's just amazing to see more stuff being out there that's in support and getting the LGBTQ community, you know, seeing more work from trans people like yourself, you know. What's your thoughts on it, really?
I mean, I think today it's, of course, we've made, you know, we've made milestones. Some people may not want to recognize that, but I think just as a trans community, you know, from seeing trans individuals, trans males or trans females being successful at whatever they do is, I think, is a milestone,
isn't it?
I personally, I mean, besides the gals that did the Matrix franchise, I don't know of any other trans directors, and I'm sure there are. I mean, and that's, again, I would, great, you know, somebody send me some stuff. You know, I would love to see more films. You know, regardless of the content, just to be supportive. And being a trans woman and being able to have the support, not only from people that are around me today, as in physically, but also that is almost non-existent. It's the people that are my family from Unearthed and my family from A Baroque House and all the other underground horde community group pages that I get this support. It's them. They're the ones that have given me the opportunity to feel like I can achieve something. Your support has been monumental to my growth as well. I mean,
thank you.
I could have not have done any of what I've achieved today if it wasn't for people like you and Christian Mickelson and Brian Spangler and my, you know, the other associate producers and my executive producer and, you know, Silent David Mathoff that did the cover for the film, and Daniel from White Gardenia doing the music, and then ultimately one of the most pinnacle part of this whole venture is Marcus Cook with the production. You know, we get the fun stuff. He unfortunately does all the footwork for us. And, you know, and he is ultimately the backbone of this whole dream of mine. If it wasn't for them, then I don't know exactly what it would even look like. And so and people may think that I'm going off of the question, but it comes full circle, because these individuals don't judge me as a trans woman. These individuals don't judge me at all. They are supportive and unbelievable, and every single one of the individuals that I named, and even more. If it wasn't for that support, I would not have achieved what I've achieved.
You are definitely.
It's really hard.
Well, you're definitely a name that's known in the horror community now, Vivian. That is one thing. I mean, even during the time that I've known you, I've seen, how much more recognised you actually are. You don't need to throw your name around much for people on the horoscope. Oh yeah, they know. I mean, you write for Horoscope magazine. You've showcased other people's work with the moving picture show and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of artists I wouldn't be able to name them by name, to be fair, but I did see the episodes of the moving picture show. You've done some fantastic work, but what we're actually here for, so I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, I could talk all night with you, Viv, about your whole journey and the umbrella in which it all comes under and everything. There's just so much. There's so much that I could bombard you with loads of stuff, but you know what? we're here like tonight because we really want to talk about Tristesse, which is what we're here for, and just can I just take a moment just to say how bloody proud I am of you that we're finally here, and it's amazing. I was privileged to be able to see this film because obviously I'm doing a review for it and everything. If you haven't already got one, folks, then you really need to get one of these films. It's just, it's got something else, but it all, Viv's work always leaves that something else with me,
Right.
and you get to see the cameo of Miss Augusto Underground Quintero. Now there's a cameo that you need to see. So getting to Tristesse, my darling, I've seen it over 4 times now, I will admit, and I won't say that I completely understand it, but going back to what we were saying before about it doesn't matter because it means to me what I want it to mean, really.
Yeah, it's your interpretation.
Yeah,
that's the whole idea behind design of making film, is that I'm making such a very strong attempt to make art. It's more important to make art to me than to put a story and then just put all the focus on the story and nothing on the substance. And I think that it's a very, very intricate element to my filmmaking process. And it's important to me. I think that it's wonderful to give people's interpretations of what they're watching.
That'd be one, wouldn't it? That'd be one to do, wouldn't it, Viv, really? It's to see just what other people's interpretations are of the film and just see just how many different different reactions that we get. But sometimes, I mean, I will admit sometimes when through watching the film, I'm thinking, what's she on with here? And with my northern British accent, that's basically what the bloody hell is she on with here? Because there's certain slowed down voices as part of the soundtrack and everything, where I'm thinking I wish I'd not watched this at night, but
yes, you wouldn't have had those emotions if it wasn't for that music that went
isn't it? But with your stuff as well, Viv, is you're never short of something happening on screen that kind of just keeps you invested and keeps you interested in what's going on. You might not understand what's going on, but I tell you now that it's not one of those where you think, I tell you what, I'll leave it running while I just go and make a cup of tea, you know what I mean? I don't get that, I'd have to pause it and come back to it because you don't want to miss any of it because there's something different in every single moment that you see. I mean, I've literally got it running as we're speaking now because I like just certain things to refresh my memory and things like that. But obviously the viewers that are going to be listening to this interview are going to obviously see different images from the film that have been specifically sort out for this episode without giving too much away, because obviously we don't want to like be putting too much in the Ripping It Up with Jamie so that people have virtually seen the film if they see all the pictures, because we're not going to do that. But yeah, there is going to be, like, along with as well, some of the absolute best shots that we've got of you yourself, Vivian, and that, you know, through your journey and everything. So yeah, fantastic. Right.
I'll get more dick pics now.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Right.
Yay.
So like
That's
like
not an
you
invitation. Let me do it.
Right, let's. So you told me that basically White E Gardenia has been collaborating with you for the soundtrack and everything like that, as well as yourself. I'm not going to mention the symbolism within the film as well, because there is a lot of symbolism in this film, isn't there?
What I tried to do with this, and it being my first entry into my filmmaking career, I think it's pertinent to place some symbolism in film, regardless of if it's a romance film to a drama to so on and so forth. I think sometimes using symbolism can be an extremely powerful tool to be able to help the viewer. I put symbolism in to try to force the viewer to steer in a different direction. I use it to sometimes do that. I use it sometimes to almost like try to force the viewer to really think about what they're experiencing. It's almost a puzzle to me when I put a film together, because there's certain individuals that know me very well, such as yourself. So for me to go and make a film, then not have one of you guys go like, oh, I know what it's all about, and you're dead on. So it's like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose in that aspect.
Well, no, but the thing is, though, Vivian, with this film, there's some of it where I can say to myself, oh yeah, I know what she means by that. But you know what? You still manage to make me think, what the hell? What's going on? What's going on here?
Well, that's the whole purpose behind me making film.
Yeah.
I get to create my own world in a sense. Like my whole concept behind filmmaking is to assure one thing, that there will be bits and pieces of previous films and newer films to show that my work is consistent within the same universe.
Well, I wasn't going to mention anything about that, but I did notice some clips, which obviously I'm not going to let anything slip. But I'm kind of hoping that I think we'll get onto that in a bit as to what's happening with certain projects of yours, Vivian. Which don't worry, I've just been waiting with bated breath for like the last 3 years. But you know. So long as I'm still going to be alive, possibly at the time it gets released, you know, I don't mind.
Maybe. Hopefully I'm still alive.
but going back to the symbolism, I mean, we see you kind of flicking, and it comes in for a little bit of a close up there of a book that you're flicking through the pages, and it seems just to have some colourful like shapes and symbols in it, and that. See, that's something that I was, you know, straight over the top of my head. That, you know, I will admit.
The art book is something that I'm not going to discuss now.
No, yeah. I knew there'd be some meaning to that, you know.
A project that I'm working on that will bring it to full circle.
Oh, okay.
There's an intricate little process where, again, if you go back to what I was saying earlier on the technique and approach I take to filmmaking, then you'll watch for subtle things. And really and truly, I won't touch on that. I'm going to play the set.
Okay.
It's my amendment right.
Also, you know, we were saying about certain imagery in the film. It you know, it touches on, you know, things from the past and everything. I mean, there is an image in there, and I'm assuming that it is yourself pre-transition, Viv. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, so there's bits and pieces in the film that have it's old footage that I did a long time
can I ask
ago.
where that came from? Where how that was shot and how that came about, that footage? Because it's very bizarre, but I like it. You know.
It was something that I wanted to try,
Mm.
and it was something that I knew I was gonna keep and possibly use for something later on. I wasn't positive what, and then when I began the process for this film, it was like, oh, wait a minute here, I got, I've got these pieces of film that I shot years and years ago, and now it's like it's evident that I need to use it.
Yeah.
It just had its purpose. It had its place. Again, if you know who I am as a person, like you know me personally, then you know certain characteristics about myself that I work on a daily basis. You know, especially like with my mental health.
Yeah.
And a true artist always pours themselves, even if it's a little bit, into their work. They're always putting a small bit of themselves, regardless if they're painting vigorously and then drops of sweat falls into their paint and they're just mixing it up. Well, now they're in with that, and there's emotion behind it, and there's reason behind it. And I think that, the human essence and our energy that we put off definitely plays a big role in connection too. So if you know my character, then when you see the film, and I'm sure you probably almost recognized a lot of it immediately, it was just essential. That piece of footage that you see is purely essential. It's there. The symbols are essential. And again, that stuff, all that there, you're going to find out will come full circle.
Brilliant. I mean, just in the title alone, La Triste, like translating as the sadness. Yeah, but we kind of knew it. I knew straight away we weren't going to get like some happy, chirpy, cheap film from you, Vivian, were we really? No.
Probably get like that, some real horrible violence, and, pretty birds, and then flashing the balcony behind it.
Yeah.
Clinically, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go cray.
I tell you what I was disappointed about though was the fact that you took the YouTube channel down. Like, would you consider putting this back up again? I mean, I actually knew what I was looking for because I knew you before I looked at the YouTube channel. But it's one of those, Vivian, the shorts that were on there. It's one of those where, if you were to fall asleep and wake up to Blind Like Darkness Forever, it's one of those little gems, that you wake up and think, oh my God, what is this? But then you just get...
I fell down the YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah, but that's an amazing YouTube rabbit hole thing to wake up to. Is that, honest to God? Can you imagine? But I was actually shocked that you took it down. I'd love to see it back again. I really would.
To be honest, when I started to really focus on doing this project, and because Embryo House has taken years to develop, and a lot of people may not realize that, and it has. It's taken, dealing with all life's, struggles and having to be responsible and pushing things back, and having a film that just doesn't want to finish editing, and it just... We're
talking about the same film here, Viv.
Yeah. I can't get it done. I just don't know what's going to happen.
Never happy with it.
And then it never stopped. Really and truly, I just just thinking about it now, that would be just so
another thing, I am amazed as well that your films and your style of filmmaking, it's all just done with just you as well, isn't it? I mean, all of this that you completely make these pieces of film by yourself. I mean, I know, like you said, you collaborate with people as regards to, soundtrack and things like that. But as for the actual, you star in your own films and you shoot them yourself as well, and with some absolutely amazing results, Viv. You know, I mean, I'm literally looking at some shots of Tristesse now and that, and you've got, you know, when you go to this like amazing, you do this like black and red like imagery, you know, with the and I think we'll have some of the pictures of you shot like that, like selfie type shots in black and red. And you look amazing in that kind of shot as well. But and you're going to let us into a little bit of like how you do some of that, you know, because oh my days, it must be a right pain, you know, having to like set things up, and especially if you're going to be in it as well.
Yeah, to be honest,
Just because I'm a newbie, I don't know about it, you see. I don't know anything about filmmaking, so, you know, other people will be like, oh yeah, it's easy, but
it takes a long time.
I can imagine it does.
It's sometimes it's very tedious, because if I'm doing multiple shots but in the same spot, you have to remember if the scene is gonna transition and you're doing an action when you want it to transition, the continuity has to be there. I mean, it happens in major motion pictures too, where, you know, you just like, you have a person with a button-up shirt on, and then the next thing you know, you see their button-up shirt is unbuttoned, and then you see them again, and it's buttoned up again.
Yeah.
So, having that continuity.
Yeah.
And so when you're shooting everything yourself, it gets to be very tedious.
Yeah.
It becomes extremely long in the process. And I mean, to be honest with you, right now, it really is. It's been a really big blessing to be able to make a film by myself. You know, I have complete creative control. You know, and another thing, I own the company, so I can whatever the hell I make. So.
Yeah.
And the process is very long.
I'm gonna actually bring up one particular scene though, and
Sure.
the cutting scene.
Okay.
I mean, this film, it kind of, it's disturbing. I would put it up there with like some disturbing cinema, because it touches on quite a lot of things that, and it's going to influence different people in different ways. Because, you know, from what I see in this movie, it touches on gender dysphoria, it touches on mental health, it touches on loneliness. It's created, and I get a little bit of like it's quite sensual as well in parts. I found as well. Whether other people found that, I really don't know. But also, I mean, like now I'm just seeing an image, and I know that I'm using one of these stills in my in the imagery for the channel. But it's like, it looks like a shot with like some writing, but I'm thinking, do I need to read all of that? You know, it looks like beautiful. Like, I'm thinking, do I need to read that and see? But it touches on everything.
Go right ahead. You may find something that you're missing.
Well, but it touches on everything. This film, you know, loads of different things. But one thing I did want to ask about was the cutting scene, and I'm going to ask you to go with that and just elaborate a bit on it.
Well, so mental health being part of a big part of my life, and struggling with mental health for the better part of my life, you know, that it would go back to, like I said before, like putting myself into my art, you know, having education on mental health, being a person that sees a therapist and sees a psychiatrist and takes medications, you know, to stabilize, you know, my depression and anxiety. And some people that know me, like I've been 3 years from the last time I had cut. You know, I can't hide it, especially in the summertime. And so I try the best I can to embrace it. People are going to take what they want out of the film. People are going to get what they want out of the film. They're going to make their own assumptions about it. And that's totally fine. That's what the film is designed to do. But there are bits and pieces that go into this film that deserves mentioning of like the cutting. It played a major role in my life, unfortunately. And I bear the scars of that. And there are, like when we were discussing symbolism, some of it is, you know, you said sexual, but it's a symbol.
Yeah.
it's symbolism. It's not trying to generate or procreate any kind of a desire.
No.
It's almost being used as a tool of deception or negativity. When you get to cutting, cutting in the psychiatric world is considered negative and positive, because they say that cutting is a way of relieving that pressure of depression or that stress. And they're not saying that, oh, go everybody do it, but at the same time, you shouldn't shame people that have, or maybe in the process of doing it. And it's just kind of stepping back in time and embracing those moments in my life where I did do that. That scene serves a major purpose. And it's up to the individual that's watching the film to make their conclusion on what is going to happen to this person that they're watching do this. Because if you notice, I'm cutting upwards on the wrist. And that's a surefire way of dying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it serves two purposes, and then it's up to the viewer to decide for themselves what's going to be the outcome of this individual. It's so ambiguous at the end.
Yeah, like I said, I'm intrigued. It's one of those, like I said, that you have to keep watching, and I'm very much intrigued as to where it's going to go next and everything. And this is
the film isn't linear. I like films that I can go back and experience it again and say, holy shit, I didn't see that before.
Well, I'm on over 4 times, Viv, so I'm definitely at that point. I think, didn't I say to you last week or something that I think after this, I'm banning myself from Tristesse for at least.
Yeah, you're banned. You can't watch it anymore.
No.
You're grounded.
But I know that you've spoke about future projects, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning that these things might come to fruition, like Smother Me Alone you speak of, and Cyclopean City, all projects that can't wait. I mean, especially after seeing this, Vivian, to be honest, it's like, it's fantastic. You ought to be very proud of the work, my love.
Thank you. Smother Me Alone is the next project I'll be working on. Right now I'm in really very, very early stages, the infancy stage, if you will, of Smother Me Alone. And so I'm a person that likes to take their time, obviously, with film.
You don't say.
Yeah, no kidding. You've been promising Cyclopean City ever since you came onto Facebook. But the film, that is the film that will never end. Smother Me Alone is the next film that I will be working on. I have 2 shorts coming out on 2 anthologies. I have a short coming out on Marcus Cook's Symbolicist Volume 3, which I am super honored. I am so honored to be able to be part of this. Being amongst filmmakers like Marcus and Jesse Sight and Daniel from White E Gardenia, James Bell. I mean, I'm not sure if James Bell has done an episode, but I know for a fact he's helped on, some of the projects that are the pieces that are on in the anthology of Symbolicist. These individuals that I'm naming, that they have inspired me to do what I'm, and being amongst them, like, wow, it's unbelievable. Like working with Sam and being an associate producer with his films, being able to know that, I'm helping an individual that I admire artistically. That short piece on some Symbolicist Volume 3, and then I have another short coming out on an anthology called Psychonaut. So I'm very excited. This year it started out really, really horrible, and just it's in the stages of blossoming into something fantastic. I have some great artists that I've signed. I just announced 2 yesterday, just kind of dropping the hint that Embryo House and Embryo Pink has signed 2 individuals, new filmmakers to it. So yes, I'm very excited about them 2 being signed.
Just for the viewers, there's going to be some of the Embryo House logos that will or have been flashed up on as we're interviewing as well. I've included those as well, Vivian, for people that haven't seen that before. So yeah, look out for Embryo House and Embryo Pink, which are your 2 labels, aren't they?
Yeah, Embryo House is the main house. It's the main portion of the film label. That's where primarily all films that fall outside of the fetish genre will be released. With Embryo House, there's only 2 criteria to be part of your film being released through Embryo House, is that it's abstract and it's art house. It has to have those 2 elements. Everything else is up to you, but those 2 elements have to be essentially part and predominant in your film for it to be released through Embryo House.
Brilliant.
And then with Embryo Pink, it has 3 criteria. It has to be abstract, it has to be art house, and it also has to be fetish orientated. We've got coming this summer, and I'm so excited about this release. Embryo Pink is releasing its first release September 30th, and it is Blue Android. And if anybody is aware of the juggernaut that is a Baroque house in the horror fetish genre, then you will know what I'm talking about when I say Blue Android. This film is absolutely a quintessential piece of a collection. It should be anyway. So
it's a massive year for you. This is just everything's kind of happening, isn't it? Really now, and a little birdie told me. Well, I say a little. I'm just lying, really. We spoke about a possible.
You're talking to birds, you.
Yeah, innit? We're talking about a move to the UK possibly for you, Vivian, as well, aren't we? We're talking about possibly stealing you from America at some point, maybe.
Yeah, it is that is what's sitting on the back burner. I'm not sure when it's happening. It's again, taking my time and making sure that everything is taken care of. It's going to be a big step.
Absolutely.
For
Embryo
House and Embryo Pink, and a new playground for me to find filmmakers over there.
And you'll realise we don't all just drink tea.
Yes, eventually we have to drink tea, or at least coffee and crumpets.
Coffee and crumpets. Oh, dearie me.
No, I'm not generalizing at all.
Oh, dear. So, just to kind of like to bring this to a close, I want to congratulate you for today, the premiere of La Triste. It's I'm so unbelievably happy for you, Vivian, and it's been an absolute pleasure for you to come on here and chat to me for Ripping It Up with Jamie, because it's my first episode and everything, and thank you for being so supportive of me as well, because you know how nervous and how more than a little bit self-obsessed I can get when it comes to making sure I want things to be right. But to be able to have shared in your journey as well, Vivian, that's brought us to today, and to be able to celebrate with you. So congratulations on La Triste, and I am 100% sure that people are going to want more Vivian Kay Quintero once they see this film. So well done, girl. And
I'm as sweet as a Georgia peach. So.
Oh dear. Well, listen, and enjoy your day, my lovely. And this obviously is going to be up on Ripping It Up with Jamie YouTube channel on for
Tuesday night. There's the premiere on Quality Violent Cinema's Discord channel. The premiere starts at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you don't know how to gauge that, just Google it. But yeah, if you have that opportunity, don't miss out on the premiere of La Triste tonight on Quality Violent Cinema's
Can we get a link to that, Viv, to put in the description or anything? Because
I don't think so. I think I can talk to Christian or Ian from there. I can talk to them about having that link provided so that it'll be ready-made for the people that want to be able to watch this.
Brilliant. Yeah, well, if you could do that, that'd be brilliant. Also, I'm going to put a link in the description for Sailor Winters as well, because that's how I first discovered Vivian. And all the way, if you want to check out Sailor Winters, then I'll put that link there for you so you can check that one out as well. And maybe, you never know, Blind Like Darkness Forever might pop up again on YouTube. Vivian, you never know.
Probably not.
All right, well,
I've been tossed around the idea of starting a Embryo House, Embryo Pink, so I can post trailers. Every once in a while, have some video updates, news on certain releases. When we start getting more momentum, that's in the work. I just don't want to overload myself. I tend to do that.
Oh yeah, you do.
My associate producers just almost made me cry because you guys when they were gone in less than a day, I couldn't help it. It just made me smile ear to ear because of that support.
Yeah,
and
you're very much loved in the horror community, Viv. You really are loved in the horror community, and a name that's gonna, be a force to reckon with in the future for definite.
Well, and I deeply love the horror community, and I do. I try to give back to individuals that have helped me and have supported me, and I'm truly blessed to have certain people with me on this adventure of making film and art together, under one banner that is Embryo House. So
wow, and I'm gonna stick if you don't mind, I'll stick the trailer for La Triste on the Ripping It Up with Jamie as well. So check out the trailer for this brilliant piece of film by Vivian Kay Quintero. It is amazing. I love it, but I can't watch it again for another week. I've got to, otherwise I'll be cross addicting.
Well, it comes out on the 24th, Friday. So
right. Well,
have to wait very long.
Well, I shall say good evening to you then, Vivian, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm very blessed, and you've been so kind. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me on.
Good night, darling. Well, there you have it, my very first episode of Ripping It Up with Jamie, courtesy of Vivian Kay Quintero and Embryo House, and the release of her very first movie, La Triste, which I'm privileged to be able to see and ordered. And if you haven't ordered one, do it. It's brilliant. If you're into art house, you'll love it. Anyway, thank you guys for liking and supporting my channel and everything, and I would really appreciate any comments. Let me know if there's anything that you in particular that you would like to be discussed on Ripping It Up with Jamie. I think maybe a lot of channels we've had like the disturbing movie iceberg, we've had like top 10. I just wanted to take this in a little bit of a different direction, really, and looking at things that haven't absolutely already been rinsed to death. So really, it's very, very new. It's in its infancy and everything, but I'm really hoping to maybe do something really exciting with it. And I'm so pleased in collaboration with Pete Lankston of Hush Hush Media, who has done all the editing, artwork and everything, and I'm in close collaboration with this channel, and also the kindness of Vivian Kay Quintero to be my first guest on this episode. I'm hoping we go somewhere with that, really. I'm going to leave links in the description as to some of the people mentioned within this episode, and also for the t-shirts banned in Britain and everything, just in case I had forgotten to mention anybody. It's because I'm just really, really nervous, so please do forgive me. I'm hoping I will get better as the time goes on. One thing that I will say though is I've got some of my my courage and everything from watching Tanner James on Unboxed, Watched and Reviewed. I mean, you know, I'm not anywhere near as confident and whatever, but honest to God, Tanner, you've kind of like, you gave me kind of that little bit of an oomph to think, you know what, why don't I just do it, you know, just get in front of the camera. But anyway, if you're still here after, you know, me rambling on this long, then you must think that there's something in it. So anyway, thanks a lot. Thanks again, everybody, and looking forward to episode 2. So stay with me. I really hope you will.